Yokoso, yokoso, yokoso. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat, episode 119. You're very welcome. I am your host. This is, of course, I am your host, Clive Illingdon, as if you didn't know. And this is, of course, the Stadia Monday Night Chat, where we will inform, educate, and entertain you on all things Stadia, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you've had a good Stadia week. What with the splendiferous news about FIFA 23 being confirmed for sure and having crossplay and all of that. More on that in the news and all of that, of course. As ever, let me know what games you've been playing. Also, looking at the calendar, it's the 25th. It's the last week of July. Ooh, time flies. Time flies, man. So that means we are more than likely to get the Stadia Pro games announced for August, ladies and gentlemen. Any thoughts? Put them in the chat. Yeah. And before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, as the great Jerome has said, hit the likes because I like it. YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you, yeah, find content. You know, similar people looking. There's some people who are into Stadia, love Stadia, don't even watch the show. What are they doing? Yeah, they're missing out of being informed, educated, and entertained on all things Stadia. But hitting the likes might help that. Yeah, might help them find the content that delivers accurate information on a fairly consistent basis, even if I do say so myself. So hit the likes. I like it. YouTube likes it. All of that. And if you are new here, then hey, yeah, this sort of, bravado and big-headedness, yeah, that's all part of the show. Don't worry. But don't let that stop you from hitting subscribe. Yeah, honestly, it's fun. Hit subscribe, toggle the notification bell, and then you'll know when I go live with awesome content like this, ladies and gentlemen. So as I said, of course, you are the chat and it is the Stadia Monday Night Chat. So I need you. I need you to feed me. Yeah, I need your adoration, your applause, and I need you in the chat. So put in your chat what you think Stadia Pro games might be. Any suggestions, new games, existing games, all of that. FIFA 23 news. Let me know your thoughts on that. Have you pre-ordered FIFA 23 yet? My son, as soon as I told my son, he said, can we get it, Dad? Can we order it? Got to buy him new football boots, yeah. So yes, it will. I suppose you don't have to pay for it yet, do you? You can pre-order it, get all the goodies, get early access to it if you get the Ultimate Edition, and not pay for it until it actually comes out. So there's always that option. But let me know in the chat whether you've done all of that. Let me just check my checklist, ladies and gentlemen. Games you play, thoughts on it, Stadia Pro Predictions. Right. While we're here, why don't we do the news, of course, will be coming up. Let's do the early bird chat, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. You fanboys who I love dearly. Straight in at the beginning. Of course, Jerome has been here from day one, the get-go. He's always first in the queue. Love it, Jerome. And ladies and gentlemen, he's pre-ordered FIFA 23. He's not mucking about. He is not mucking about. Far Cry 6 is also on sale. Yes, Mr. Bayron Place. Don't forget to pre-order FIFA 23 with the 10 times play points offer. Yeah, check that out. You won't get your points until you pay, but you get your points. Ray, the gaming cyborg, how are you, sir? Lovely to see you. That's true. I wonder if I can cancel my pre-order and then pre-order it again with the 10 times play points. Maybe. Should be able to. Hey, Roger. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Geek the Sneak. Howdy. Sednar has been playing PUBG and FIFA. Lukey6 taking a break from Dead by Daylight. Good to see you, sir. This month has flown by. I was just thinking that when I said it's nearly time for Stadia Pro, but I guess we've had some amazing news. Towards the beginning of the month? I mean, we get the Stadia Pro titles, which were awesome. Good hope. 6 of them? I think there were at the time. Then we get the Mexico expansion. Then we get the Saints Row news confirmation. Then we get FIFA 23 confirmation. And then we're going to get another of those Stadia Pro titles announced for August. So pretty awesome. Roger's been playing Stray. My daughter came to me and she said she'd been watching lots of streamers play it. And she says, is that cat game you showed me coming to Stadia? I said, no. But I think she got confused with Calico. I said, and then I said to her later, it wasn't Stray I showed you. It was Calico. Cat Cafe. Which I think she'll like as well. So there we go. Hey, Dave, how are you? Pedder. I must admit, check out Stadia Dosage. For Pedder did a wonderful article on why I shill Stadia. Slightly tongue-in-cheek, but the headline there. But a really good article, and I kind of touched on a lot of points about, you know, the frustrations of being someone who you know, is into Stadia, and then you see kind of information which is contrary to your very eyes. My daughter asked me, oddly enough, she just talking about Calico, she suddenly showed an interest in Stadia, and she says, how's Stadia work then? Like, I've been doing this show, it tells you how much my daughter pays attention to me. Been doing this show for nearly, 2 years odd, 119 episodes. She goes to me, Dad, so how's this Stadia work? How do you get it then? How do you work? It's like, you're not being paying attention. And so I was explaining to her how it works, and it works amazingly. And of course, when it came out, but I said to her, when it came out, it was a bit of a damp squib in terms of the marketing and sort of people's attitude towards it, and traditional gamers going, no, I don't understand. It is outside my comprehension. It's too difficult for my brain. It's like explaining the fourth dimension to three-dimension people. You know, it was like, I don't get it. I saw a tweet recently where someone said, yeah, Google messed up with Stadia. They should have bought out a console first. And these are sort of tweets used to get early doors. But I saw this tweet this week and I just thought, no. What? You don't get it. What is the point of innovating a new way of playing and introducing an old way of doing it? That's the thing about Stadia. And the other thing I was saying about to my daughter was that, so obviously, you know, gamers were going, we don't understand the concept. It's impossible. It cannot work. There will be too much lag and latency. And I was saying, but it did work, and it does work. No, it's impossible. And you're going, yeah, it's not. I'm doing it right now. I'm playing Destiny 2 and it's working. No, it's impossible. It is impossible. A bumblebee can't fly. It's impossible. Physics shows a bumblebee can't fly. It's impossible. Yeah, I'm watching a bumblebee fly right now. Yeah, no, it's impossible. It's impossible. Anyway, so I was explaining to her in that fashion. But how, cut to now, you've got what? I said, you know, I've got over 150 odd games from Stadia Pro. There's 280 odd games in the Stadia library. It's expanding to Mexico. You know, as I always say on this show, as you always know, Stadia is the best it's ever been right now, right this second. It's the best it's ever been. No question about it. But anyway, there you go. Little side rant. Hadn't planned that. Stray is the first game I really wish would come to Stadia. It's a PlayStation and PC exclusive, though, isn't it? Or no, it's a timed exclusive on PlayStation, I believe. I was trying to explain it to my daughter that it might come to Xbox. No idea on the titles. Figment 2. Good shout out, Dave. That one. We'll come to that later after the news. We'll see what you lot have been putting. Roger's hoping for Atari Asteroids. Good evening, Four Scars. John, how are you? Cloud validation. Dave's pre-ordered. Dave. Right, you're on. Revenge. Yeah. Hey, Dasmi. Lloyd, long time no see. In the chat. Hello, sir. Hope you are good. Hope you are well. Hope you're enjoying your Stream Deck. Steam Deck. That's why I paused there to remember what it was, and I still got it wrong. Steam Deck. £6 or £8, depending on which version you get, not to be sniffed at. Hey, Raphael. Hello. Grumpy Owl, good to see you, sir. Atari Black Widow recharges a pro title. Could see that in August. Hey, Al Davis Music, how are you? And Mastar, good to see you. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Look, he's already cancelled my pre-order for FIFA and for Skull's Bones just to get his points. He's just doing it. Jerome just wants his play points. Good idea. 10 times play points, everyone. Jack, the wonderful Jack to Slip. Oh, that's all right, Dasmi. Life is life. Life is life, isn't it? Gets in the way. I know that. I am grateful you are here. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go to the news, games I've been playing. For once, I've spent some dedicated time playing a game through, and I've been playing Valiant Hearts. What a great game. There's something to be said for games like that have got that kind of storybook style, you know, some sort of simplistic 2D graphics, but in a beautiful illustrated storybook, like a kid's storybook style. It's educational. Like I know I'm into history, know loads about the First World War, like any, geek who's into history does, but less so about the First World War from the French perspective. So I learned stuff that I didn't realize, because obviously, growing up in Britain, my perspective is always from the British Empire perspective of the First World War. So it's interesting to see it from the French perspective and become educated. You're never too old to learn. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. I haven't quite finished, but I tweeted out I love the game, but I get so stressed when I'm administrating medical aid. I don't want the person to die, and I start panicking. There was one bit where I was trying to save one of the characters, and I was like, no, please. And I thought he died. I was like so upset, but I saved him. It's all right. Whew, nursey saved him. But it's amazing how such a simplistic mechanic, you get so involved in the characters. And that's the thing about good characters in a game, good story writing. Talking, if anybody who saw the Purple Haze interview with Rhea Pratchett, who I'm a massive fan of because she introduces strong story and strong character. And just like film and television, you're drawn into it by good story and character. And so it doesn't matter in a way the style. If the characters and the story are strong, you get drawn in and you buy into the universe and the concept. And I've certainly done that with Valiant Hearts. It's wonderful, wonderful game. Really enjoyed it. Haven't quite finished, but I'm got the tissues ready and all of that. But there you go. So that's what I've been playing, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for the news. Clive, you ready in the studio? Yeah, you were working late on this, weren't you? Did you manage to get it all done? Well, we'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Stadia news. Clive, over to you. Thanks, Clive. Welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat news for the 25th of July, 2022. The big, nay, massive news of the week was final confirmation that FIFA 23 is coming to Stadia. Back of the net. There had been leaks, rumours, even hints by Stadia itself that it was coming. But in the first reveal trailer for the title, EA confirmed that the massive international sports blockbuster is coming to multiple platforms, including Stadia, and was instantly available as a pre-order on both the EA site and the Stadia store. Once again, it sees Stadia being classed as a next-gen version, receiving Hypermotion 2, along with Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and this time also PC. In addition, and perhaps even more significant for Stadia, is the introduction of crossplay. Oh yes. Stadia was part of an earlier trial of this on FIFA 22, so hopes were high that A, the game was coming to Stadia, and B, crossplay would be a feature of FIFA 23. And sure enough, it is. In FIFA 23, crossplay will be available at launch in FUT Division Rivals, except co-op, FUT Championships, FUT Ultimate Online Draft, FUT Online Friendlies, except co-op, FUT Player Friend, Online Friendlies, Online Seasons, except co-op seasons, and the virtual Bundesliga competitive game mode that's available to players based in Germany only. Crossplay is initially enabled for all players when launching FIFA 23 for the first time, provided the platform level settings allow for it, and it can be opted out of at any time, and EA will have more news on this later. The FUT transfer market as well has the addition of crossplay for FIFA 23. The FUT transfer market will be expanded to include cross-platform functionality with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox S and X, and Stadia all sharing the FUT transfer market pool. The FUT transfer market will now be combined within pools of platforms, with the exception of PC and Switch, which will continue to have their own separate transfer markets. For example, if you were to list an item on Stadia, a PlayStation 4 player will be able to see and interact with it. This is massive for Stadia as it will dramatically increase items and trades available on the platform. And crossplay even extends as far as a global leaderboard, with the ability for people who don't have a console or gaming PC to play with friends on other platforms, expansion into Mexico, and it being a next-gen version. FIFA 23 on Stadia is a massive moment of the year for Stadia and shouldn't be overlooked. Ubisoft now, and with good news and bad news for some AAA titles coming to Stadia. In a quarterly earnings call, Ubisoft seemed to confirm that Roller Champions is likely to come to Stadia between now and September. They said the title was well received by players and was tracking ahead of Hyperscape. Despite this, there have been rumours from serial leaker Jeff Grubb of Giant Bomb gaming site that Roller Champions is due to be canned after Season 3. He said this was confirmed by a source, although he also said Ubisoft were rumoured to be working on a Division 2 Battle Royale spin-off, which is odd, as it's not a rumour, it's a public fact, and it's called the Division Heartland, isn't it? Unless there's another Battle Royale they're planning. And you can even sign up as a tester for Heartland right now. So take the rumours about Roller Champions with a pinch of salt, and equally any other rumours that I might talk about a little bit later. But these rumours were quickly squashed by Ubisoft in a tweet from Roller Champions themselves, who said, "Hello champions, let's clear it out of the way first. Roller Champions isn't getting cancelled and Ubisoft fully supports it. You can rest assured we'll keep you updated as we roll forward." The much anticipated Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has been pushed back to next year. Ubisoft went on to state that they see the title as very much a standalone gaming franchise, so less dependent on the films. As such, they want to get it right to ensure the game is the best it can be, factor in working from home conditions, and they just want to give the title more time. They also confirmed the cancellation of Ghost Recon Frontline, but added that both The Division Heartland, which I referred to earlier, and X-Defiant, their free-to-play initiatives, are at different testing phases and still on track for release, with X-Defiant recently confirming a status update in a tweet this week. And there's a smaller unannounced premium game that was due for release this year and that will now be released in 2024. Back to Jeff Grubb now, the serial leaker, and he confirmed that his sources inform him that Ubisoft is working on a spin-off of the open-world adventure Immortals Fenyx Rising, and this will be set in the world of Polynesian myths and folklore. This is still super early, so very much on the drawing board, with a release date target of 2025. Developer news now, and it seems developer Digital Eclipse is in talks with Stadia. Digital Eclipse specialise in bringing classic video games to new platforms, like a sort of archivist restoring old classic games so that we can play them on modern platforms. So games like SNK 40th Anniversary and Mega Man Legacy Collection. Really old games from yonder years. And there's no guarantee that we'll see these titles or similar on Stadia. But the head of production at Digital Eclipse did confirm that they were talking to Stadia in a tweet recently. Phoenix Point Complete Edition is available on Stadia, and this brings all the DLC previously available for this XCOM style game into one edition. So you have the Festering Skies, Corrupted Horizons, and Chaos Engines DLC all bundled with the original game. They've also added it as part of the free demos available, so you can try the game for 120 minutes. No Stadia account needed. And finally, the Cloud Gaming Championships enter week 2 with its latest challenge, based around the popular Centipede Recharged. The challenge was created by Cloud Gaming Championship organizer @NinjaGuyX, and it was designed to give the participants a challenge with a little bit of a twist. Full details available now, as ever, on the awesome and ever-growing StadiaDosage.com. So check that out, see what the rules are, and see if you can rise to the challenge. So that's the news this week for the Stadia Monday Night Chat. So it's back to Clive, live in the studio. Clive, back to you. Thanks, Clive. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Stadia news. Obviously, lots of amazing stuff in there, especially about FIFA 23. Can't really state enough how big that is for Stadia, especially given, as I said, given crossplay and the fact that, you know, sort of game that somebody might just want to buy and that's it, and play with their mates on other platforms. So, you know, somebody's not really, you know, massive into gaming, but wants to play FIFA with their mates because they've seen it, whatever. It's 1030 Media Group says here, if EA put an ounce of marketing budget behind the FIFA Stadia version, it's the easiest way to play. I mean, I can't see it. They have to sort of be fair unless Google pay them to do those promotions. But certainly Stadia could promote it that way, play with your friends and all of that. I think, well, yeah, so there's my little comment about Jeff Grubb and sources and people. There's plenty of people. It's like, yeah, there's plenty of sort of gaming journalists and stuff doing this show, 119 episodes of this show, whatever it is, researching Stadia news, looking into Stadia news, following it up, doing research, following the leads, all of that kind of stuff. And it's just a hobby. Yeah. But doing all that has made me realize that people just put stuff out there without consequence. Yeah, they just put stuff out there and then forget about it. Just like, well, it's true of all news, really. Very rarely do people come back and go, you know what, you know that thing I said 2 months ago, 3 months ago, oh, hands up, I was wrong. You know, it's like newspaper articles, unless they're taken to court and forced to say they were wrong. And then it's on like buried on page 10, just underneath a window cleaning advert or something, rather than the original front page headline, which they stated out. They don't care because it just sells newspapers. Yeah. The headline sells a newspaper. If it turns out to be wrong, oh, so what? Too late. It's today's chip paper, as we say in the UK. So it's true. You know, I think we do, you know, if you're going to rely on, people have sources, yeah? And those sources may be in, you know, may work for the company that they're referring to. Now, whether they work close to the heartbeat of the company or close to the heartbeat of that project, or they work, you know, further out is, you know, debatable. For instance, it was announced today that the BBC will be hosting the Eurovision Song Contest. Just go with me here. Because obviously Ukraine, who won it, unfortunately can't host it. So the BBC will be hosting it on their behalf. But I knew this a while ago. Yeah, because I'm close to that story. It's what I sort of, that area of business within the company. So I kind of knew that. So if somebody, you know, as a source, if I was, you know, not that I would, but if, you know, a source for that information. I'm close to that story. Equally, you might hear a rumor within a company as a source, like over there. And then if you're a leaker and you leak it to somebody, then the integrity of that information may be less. If you don't really know what's going on, maybe less so. Maybe if we look at if we look at roller champions. So yeah, so talking about if you make statements without consequence, or go back and correct them, or put your hands up. I put my hands up when I wrong. I said one of the very few things, despite what people on Reddit have told me, one of the very few things I actually got wrong, I admitted it, and it was that no way would Ubisoft launch, Ubisoft Plus, whatever, launch in the US only. It made no sense. It was probably a mistake because they were referring to Luna, which was US only. But as far as Stadia concerned, it would launch in all the territory Stadia. It didn't make any sense why that wouldn't happen. It didn't happen. I put my hands up. I said I was wrong. I genuinely couldn't understand why Ubisoft Plus didn't launch in Europe at the same time, on Stadia at the same time as it launched in the US. Yeah, never understood that. Never understood that. But there you go. I was wrong. Put my hands up. I was wrong. But other than that, you're going to be pretty hard pressed to find other stuff that I've been incorrect on. But I put my hand on it. But consequences, yeah. So if we look at here, look, if I go here, right? If I just put roller champions in the in Twitter, look, still top. Roller champions cancelled. Ubisoft is rumored to already be cancelling roller champions. Because this is a great headline. Negative headlines. They're fantastic. But let's go to here. Roller champions themselves. And let's just let's deep dive a bit on what they say. So as Clive mentioned in the news there, it isn't getting cancelled. Ubisoft fully supports it. So I think if you read this here, you might understand where those rumors may have come from, misunderstanding, grey areas, all of that. And I will put some context on what I think may, if it was a genuine source within the company, what might have gone on. What the Roller Champions dev team is doing is making sure we focus on what our players have told us needs improvement. And that supersedes all other priorities. So in there is an admittance that maybe Roller Champions hasn't quite gone, even though in their earnings call, they're saying it's gone better than Hyperscape. That's a low bar. Yeah, let's be honest, that is a low bar. But it's tracking better than Hyperscape. But in this statement, can we read that perhaps it hasn't done the kind of gangbusters that they expected, but not enough of a disaster for them to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as we say? So what does this mean? It means we're expanding Disco Fever's length. We're doing this for two reasons. We'll push out a patch that includes cross invites so that we can deliver on the game's promise as being a resolutely social experience. So cross invites for crossplay. We'll announce when this patch comes out. We will take enough time to solve the issues our players have voiced as irritants before we release our new season. The cross invite patch will include fixes, but we'll be working on more improvements after its release. As far as content is concerned, we can tell you that we've got exciting stuff planned for the next seasons. We strongly believe, however, that before we release new content, we've got to do right by our players. Hence why we are taking the time needed before we do. You can rest assured we'll keep you updated as we roll forward. So in there is definitely perhaps a suggestion that it's not perhaps done as well as they might. And if that is a conversation within the company and you're far away as a source within the company and you happen to leak it, maybe that sort of slight misunderstanding of the approach people close to the project are actually going to take, in this case, fix the problems, take their time, address the issues that they think are holding the game back, rather than cancel it. But if you're a long way from that, within Ubisoft's a massive company, thousands of people working for it. So if you're hearing discontent within the company about Roller Champions, maybe you think, oh, they might, there's rumors going on. I've heard rumors within the company, they might cancel it. And then you say to your source outside the company, your Jeff Grubbs, yeah, I've heard, right, word is they might cancel it. And suddenly word is they might cancel it becomes they're canceling it. And they're canceling it suddenly becomes headlines that everybody's repeating. Yeah. So good on Roller Champions to get out there and squash that down, because it's peppered. Already we're seeing it. Already it's coming through. It's not getting cancelled. It's not getting cancelled. Oh, Jez Corden, Ubisoft may be killing Roller Champions. To be honest, I didn't know it launched. Great reporting, Jez. That's the issue. Yeah. Co-host Xbox 2-part. Look, this is the issue. To be honest, I didn't even know it was launched. And he's a games journalist. I wasn't looking for that. That just so happened to appear. That is typical. Know your job. Yeah, it's really simple. It's not as though it's an obscure indie game. Jeez. Gamer Geek. Roller Champions may soon be scrapped, according to reports. People jump on the news without questioning the source. By all means, if it is a reliable source, yeah, but Jeff Grubb's got loads of other things right. Yeah, but if you say enough junk, it's like a lot of sort of FIFA leakers, whatever. They say enough stuff, some of it will stick, and you only ever. I saw a YouTuber sort of talking about how to sort of be a leaker or in games and sort of report stuff, and it went into detail how you can do it by put stuff out there, like lots of information, and then when you're right. So you say about 10 statements, and one of those statements is right. You go back, undo all the other statements, and then focus back on that statement and go, see, I was right. And people go, wow, he's clever. He's 100% prediction record. But it's like that scene in Lego Movie when Batman's throwing his spanners to hit the button, and he throws about 20 spanners, and then he goes, first time. It's a bit like that. But anyway, so just, I think we've got to be careful with rumors and sources and stuff like that, and just sort of question the reliability of that source. So for instance, the person who leaked the FIFA 23 information originally, that equally got lots of was repeated and repeated and repeated. That person specializes in FIFA leaks and has a very good track record. So, he leaked that it was on the platform, that it was coming to Stadia a long, long time ago. But again, you could sort of say, well, maybe he's cut and pasted from last year or the old existing platforms. But there was enough detail in there to make you think, yeah, no, I think he's seen a document of some sort. So you just need to think rather than rush out and write the headline, yeah, or put massive, virtual I'm doing quotation marks for those listening on podcasts around it, saying, just quantify, put the context around the rumors. No harm in sort of reporting a reliable, rumor monger leaker has said, but let's be clear, it is only a rumor. And it would be odd as well, considering Jeff Grubb gave that interview and said, oh, they're cancelling Roller Champions within a day of an official, legally bound earnings call where they talk about Roller Champions and its future. They would, in the same earnings call, Ubisoft talked about projects they were cancelling. So there's a track record of them saying they're cancelling in that earnings report. So why wouldn't they say, oh, and we're also going to wind down Roller Champions? So clearly what's happened is, us again speculating here, what's happening is they're trying to improve it. They've obviously had some feedback, some criticism. It's got to make them money. So maybe dress up some skins and make it more enticing and stuff like that. But yeah, that's clearly what they're revisiting it. And hopefully more content will come and all of that. And hopefully we'll see it on Stadia before September if the Ubisoft earnings call. The suggestions from there is it's somewhere between now and September that it's going to be released. So there we go. Anyway, I just thought I would share that little bit of insight for you. And now your mum, yeah, but that was a mistake. But exactly, straight away that it was a mistake when it was pointed out. That was just some intern copy and pasting the platforms across the document, and you could tell it was a mistake because they did it twice. Yeah, and they said, that's a mistake. They said it's a mistake. So they were, pretty up about it. Mistakes happen, as long as you correct them and you put your hand up, say, no, that was a mistake. So much, it just sounds like Roller Champions is being cancelled when season 3 ends. People just go for it and accept it at face value. Anyway, there you go. Roller Champions not being cancelled. Looking forward to it. Just question the sources. Sources are reliable sometimes, but just look at the track record. Consider where that source might be. Consider the detail of the information. Things like that. Always question. Always question. Right. Stadia Pro predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. Let's have a look what people have said. We've had a few Atari recharged. Black Widow recharged. Asteroids. Roger was saying. I think there was an article actually in Stadia Dosage. They were doing a survey of potential Stadia Pro titles. Can't find it. But while I'm here, just want to shout out. I mentioned a few weeks ago about Stadia. It was on John Scar's Stadium Connect North, talking about, and he's a stats man. He's a stat man. Remember that song? He's a stat man. Talking about, anyways, he went through a whole presentation on John's show about how he calculated how many active users, and he's a data analysis expert. He's got PhD in it, whatever. Like he's legit, and he's a data fanatic like Jack the Slip and everything. Anyway, he's put his presentation into written form with all the background, the calculations, real proper data analysis, top tier stuff. Checked it. Counter-checked it by people with a little bit of information on the inside, whether it be developers who games on Stadia Pro and things like that. But a really interesting article overall. Highly recommend reading it. StadiaDosage.com. How many active users does Google Stadia have in July 2022? Real science behind the data. So highly recommend it. There's people on Reddit questioned it and stuff like that, but you can kick if you're really into data analysis, that kind of thing. If you're on the same level as he is, because this is his job, this kind of PhD level data analysis, by all means question it. If you're not, but you need to, if you want to, by all means counter it, but counter it with the same level of detail, workings. Your maths teacher would always say, show your workings. He shows his workings and all of that. So highly recommend checking that out. Black Widow recharged as a pro title. Stop watching the, what sport is it? Ice hockey? Well, I don't know. Blue Bombers. What are Blue Bombers? I'm guessing some other side of the pond sport there. Roger says there's hope for Jedi Survivor on Stadia. So I've seen a few people speculate, oh, does this mean that Stadia's entered another multi-game deal with EA? I hope they bring this game. I hope they bring that game. I hope that game is part of it. And I think the reality is, again, I'm just using my knowledge of and experience over the last couple of years and gaming industry and stuff like that. I think reality is that no, EA have bought this game. EA have bought FIFA 23 because it'll make money for them. As I've said before, as I quite rightly predicted, it's the sort of game, they've got the data that they know it's worth putting the time and effort into the port. They've done all the work really on FIFA 22 and FIFA 21. So porting's a breeze for them now. And they know that it's worth that effort. It's worth getting out of bed because they'll probably make however much their target return on investment is, So unless another title from EA is on that scale, at this moment, I don't necessarily see them bringing another game. Expansion into Mexico might help that, but I think further country expansion, which I think we will see. I don't think we're going to have to wait another 2 years before we see another country expansion. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I think we will see further country expansion, possibly by the end of the year. So things like that feed into the return on investment calculation that EA make. Something on the size of Jedi Survivor. They've got the data from Jedi Fallen. By the time Jedi Survivor is launched and delivers, maybe Stadia, maybe the calculation works out for EA. And so, yes, I would argue, I'm not saying it's going to come, but potentially it is the sort of title that might do the numbers for EA, given what I've said, given Mexican expansion, given further expansion that I predict by the end of the year. It's the sort of title that might deliver. There we go. Stefan, how are you, sir? Purple Haze made it. Phew. Hyperscape looked fun from the videos I've seen. I just hate the jumping bit. I guess they tried to make it, differentiate it from other battle royales and stuff, but I didn't like the leaping, the jumping bit. Hey, Preston, how are you? Hot Wheels, Stadia Pro, back on the Stadia Pro count. Yeah, Hot Wheels. Yes. Wow. Oh, yes. So we've had some Stadia, some Saints Row as pro titles, didn't we? Because I have them both. Maybe I bought one, but definitely one of them was a pro title. Hey, bud, how are you? I want to buy all the Atari games, yeah. Oh, Amnor, how are you? Good to see you. I think we wait 2 weeks for more country news. Wow, Purple Haze. Now, look, I was hedging my bets. I'm giving myself a 6-month leeway here to be right or wrong. But 2 weeks, Purple Haze. Oof, in like Finn. In like Finn. Hey, that would be great. I mean, I think if they can expand before the launch of FIFA 23, if they can expand again or announce expansion, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure India yet. It would be amazing, Roger. I don't think it's. I think it will be. I think it will be a surprise. I think it will be something we're not thinking of. I mean, people talk about Brazil, possibly, but even now, I think there are other territories that we're missing. But I hope it's a territory with. I mean, we'll be lucky if it's a territory that has the kind of population that Mexico has. You know, the second largest population on Stadia outside of the US. But you know, good job on the FIFA prediction. Well, I don't know. I predict. Yeah, I did sort of. I was pretty confident it was coming, as a couple of people were, and then rumors started coming and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought the title is so big. It's such a big spike in terms of sales and money back from all the bloody FUT points that I thought, and they've done all the hard work, as I said. So it's not that, not having to invent the wheel for, you know, they've got a team who've kind of done the porting. So it's not an extra investment for them, really. They've done the hard work. Stadia effectively paid, you know, invested in that in the porting capability. And once you've got a team running, a small team running that can port the game, and you're developing it in tandem, the investment is tiny. So it made sense to me and others that it was definitely coming. I'm just relieved that I've been validated. Saints Row 4 was a pro. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Korea. Maybe. But just watch the horizon. I've been trying to sort of see whether they're, so there was we know that Stadia is launching in Mexico. Stadia have just launched a new sort of their cloud in Mexico. So this is just slightly outside of this is sort of in addition to their talking about Mexico expansion. I saw an article in the cloud gaming industry saying they're just launching their cloud to provide all these additional Google services. So I kind of figured that that's basically all the services they talked about at the Mexico expansion, the Google expanding into Mexico. So Stadia is on the horizon there, definitely very soon by all accounts. It's all down to Clive, son. Yeah, exactly. You know, I'd like to do my bit if I can and all of that. Right, should we go to chat? I won't show that. Let's go to chat 1 second. Let me just refresh chat. Yay. Click on it and it's gone. There we are. Let's just refresh it. Go back to that. Excuse me as I just and there we are. Right, let's see what chat's been saying. Remember, get your Stadia Pro titles and all of that in. Something I wanted to just focus on. Oh yeah, so we're talking about the rumors and the sources. So just on that Immortals Phoenix rumor, it wouldn't surprise me if they were doing another game. I don't think that's necessarily rocket science, and it's so early in development. If we're talking 2025, like, you know, the planning stage, and why not do spin-offs based on other folklore and gods and stuff like that, Polynesian gods and things like that. It's a real rich seam. when I worked at Lego, my colleague was in charge of story. And he worked on the Bionicles, which was based around, and he based it around Polynesian myths and created a whole world of the Bionicles, these Lego characters, loosely based upon Polynesian myths and stories like that. And they had very kind of Polynesian and South Pacific kind of names and stuff like the characters had the names and stuff like that. But there you go. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there is thoughts or discussions within Ubisoft about a potential Immortals Phoenix spin-off. So that may well be right. I mean, you know, who knew? I'm almost watching live. Hey, Arizona, how's it going, Squids? Good to see ya. Saw my first LG telly with Stadia logo on the box. It's interesting. Mr. Parks has become a member. Thank you very much. It's interesting that the Stadia app being on Samsung TV Gaming Hub, being on LG's is a massive thing, because you see, I saw a, where is it? I keep seeing Samsung Gaming Hub tweet out. Sometimes they tweet out about Xbox. Sometimes they tweet out about Stadia. So when you've got another massive brand tweeting about your brand, yeah. So you've got LG tweeting about Stadia being on their TVs, Samsung tweeting about Stadia being on their TVs. It's a massive benefit that's sometimes overlooked. So yeah, I just thought that was just an interesting observation. I've seen it a number of times. So that, you know, when you see things on the box, we've seen them on the side of Sharp TV boxes that run Google TV, stuff like that. It's just, you know, it seeps through slowly. Stadia brand recognition might not be obvious, but after a while, like any brand, you know, just seeps through. Thank you, MG Parks. He's been a member for 4 months, sir. Much appreciated. For real. I can't believe some are reporting negative Nancy stuff about Roller Champions. I'm beyond excited for that one. It's going to be fun. Of course it's going to be fun. You know, we love, you know, if you like that sort of thing, it's just another great social game to have on Stadia when it arrives. So, you know, I hope it all works out. Put your product in front of fresh eyes. Exactly. What's that? And when you see old FIFA available, I mean, imagine like when the Stadia app launched on the LG TV, when it first launched, they did a massive sort of top block ad saying play Destiny 2 now. Yeah, it was obviously a paid for ad. You pay for those some things sometimes on the smart TV. Imagine play FIFA now across the top. Oh, see, Marcus, he's been going, yeah, smart marketing, exactly. Marcus G. Knight's been looking all the languages they've integrated into games released recently. Tagged you in the Samsung Gaming tweet. Oh, I did see that one. I'll have to see again. Let me just look, check my note. Oh, yeah, there it was. Oh. Yes, here we go. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about. So this is from Samsung Gaming. Okay, albeit they've only got 2,000 followers, but they're building out their brand. This is, you know, this is Samsung. This is the Gaming Hub Twitter. Samsung Gaming Hub's the new home for gaming on your 22 Samsung Smart TV. Play the biggest games, top streaming services, no console required. And this one specifically, browse the library of games available with each of our cloud gaming partners, including Google Stadia. So this is a specific Google Stadia reference tweet by Samsung with a clean and user-friendly experience. Yeah, a lot of scrolling A lot of scrolling though, I've got to admit. It is a bit frustrating now with over 100, with 200 odd games. Plus, unless you've started playing a game, the fresh games that you've put into your pro library don't necessarily pop up there. But hey, let's not moan. It's all good stuff. But there you go. Thank you for that, Marcus. But yeah, you can't underestimate the importance of this sort of cross marketing that we get from partnerships with LG, partnerships with Samsung, the Chromebook adverts that you see with bundling in Stadia, AT&T deals and stuff like that. It's all good stuff. It's all gristle to the mill, as they say. I hope they say that. Let me just go back now. Where's the one thing also just to look out for in terms of, we know that obviously hopefully we'll get the Stadia Pro announcements for August next week. We've got a way forward from Ubisoft coming up, I think in September. There's one from THQ Nordic here, which is coming on the 12th of August. Not saying there'll be Stadia games necessarily, but TH Nordic have a history of bringing games to Stadia. So could be one to watch on August the 12th. Obviously, if there's any news from that, we will be reporting it right here on the Stadia Monday Night Chat, of course. No problem. But I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. THQ Nordic, when's that? 3 weeks. Yeah, something to look forward to in 3 weeks. I'm tempted to grab some of these gaming hub TVs. And I can't justify it because I've just bought the LG one. Games on my list, you search on the phone app and choose to launch. Yeah, I think that's what you got to do, Roger. And like a new game, I have to sort of press play and then stop it. After this week's high, hopefully no negative, as always, negative nonsense. In fact, if you go, not that I'd recommend it, but there was a whole thing when the rumor about Roller Champions being cancelled, and somebody mentioned it on Reddit, and of course, the cheerful Charlies on Reddit piled in. Ha ha, ha ha. Reddit is just like a collection of those bullies from Simpsons, isn't it? Ha ha. Like any slight thing, it's like ha ha, and they all get the tick ups. I saw somebody goes, ha, yeah, typical, yeah, Stadia losing these titles, ha ha, 6 upvotes. The next response was, why is that funny? 6 negative votes, down ticks. Like, yeah, why is that funny? Like that's a perfectly legitimate question. Ha ha, yeah, I just come here because Stadia lives rent-free in my head. Like, just, and you're wrong in the end anyway, because it's not being cancelled. So ha ha, back, as they say. Would be nice to get, oh yeah, Destroy All Humans 2 on Stadia. That would be good, yeah. I haven't finished playing, well, I haven't finished playing loads of games, if I'm really honest. But Destroy All Humans 1. So sad. Exactly, Mr. Ken W. Oh, I'd love Phoenix-style games set in the Viking era. Maybe that's the next Phoenix spin-off. Maybe they could do a whole series of them, couldn't they? Like I said, they could do the Polynesian gods and folklore, Viking folklore, Indian folklore. Imagine having like an Indian folklore one, gods and all that kind of stuff. Amazing. In fact, what they should do Journey to India. The monkey story, and Buddha, Tripikata, monkey, Sandy, and all of that. That'd be a great one to do. Google TV has been made available recently in India. Good stuff. It's ready. It's ready. I just don't think necessarily, I mean, it would be awesome. But I don't think necessarily next expansion is India, personally. Lugo Tiburon. Lovely. Thank you. Members, been a membership for 4 months. Very much. It's all coming out. All these people who signed up. How many Stadia? Oh, dear. No, I think they left Amner because they were fed up of being consistently wrong and to save face. So good luck to them. You know, they can come back, crawling back with their hat between their... Please, we were wrong. Could we come back? I know I cancelled my YouTube channel, deleted it all and ran off in a huff, but could I come back, please? Yeah, come on, we're welcome. We're all, you know, inclusive here. It's okay. That's okay. Come here. That's okay. That's okay. So, yeah, Amna, people are always welcome to go off, come back. All of that. Certain regions in India. Yeah, that maybe India's such a massive place. Maybe that's how they have to do it. I don't know. Hey, Sonia, Sooner Live. Good to see you. Are you supposed to finish games? No. Not since I have had Stadia. I mean, I remember Rock mentioning that maybe it's a sort of, we get sort of spoiled that we have so many games that we no longer spend time finishing a game. I used to have a bit more time, but I used to spend time finishing a game because, you know, say I was using Games Pass. I wasn't that, you know, occasionally they'd bring out a good game or Games for Gold on Xbox. Maybe one out of their games I was vaguely interested in. And I'd play them through the end. But Stadia, despite what you think, based on what people say, we do have games thick and fast. We get like games that you are given, if Stadia Pro, you know, you're getting 5 or 6 games. Even if you never buy a game, you're getting 5 or 6 games just dumped onto your lap every month. Free. And if you're curious, you like, because it's free, I'll give them a go. It's like a taster, innit? I'll give it a go, see what it's like. And so you do get into that habit, you know, but so a game's got to be, I think, a game for me personally. Again, this is, you know, different people game in different ways. For me, I think a game's now, because I've got into this sort of bad habit of dipping into a game's really got to pull me in, that I want to keep coming back to it to finish it off, like Valiant Hearts is doing for me right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm curious what the retracted message now is from... it is hard to finish. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, case ball. I think we see more games from Braces Group Library throughout the year. Yeah, definitely. They've got a good lot of... Like I've said on this show before, I think we are those mid-tier, what I'd call mid-tier publishers, whose return on investment targets perhaps are less of a stretch than, say, EA or Take-Two or Activision Blizzard, or, you know, those kind of mammoth publishers who say, we're not getting out of bed for $1 million unless it's $1 million. So that's why we see a lot of indies, but also mid-tier publishers like Deep Silver, who are bringing Saints Row. So I think if you want AAA games, you are more likely... I'm not saying we won't get more AAA games from, you know, likes of EA and Take-Two later down the line. But right now, I think if you're looking for AAA games, you are more likely to get them from the mid-tier level publishers, like a Deep Silver, yeah, or like people within the Embracer Group who are ever expanding and snapping up mid-tier, small to mid-tier publishers. So there we go. I prefer 1 pro game per week. Oh, that'd be interesting, Roger. Yeah. I wonder, but sometimes you'd have to have 2 though, because there's, you know, you get 6 or 7. You know, we had 7 pro titles in July. FIFA exclusive on Stadia for another year. Yeah, that's it. What I can say is we won't be seeing FIFA on Stadia anymore. Well, actually, we don't know, because we don't know what's going to happen to the FIFA franchise. So, if it gets picked up by another massive publisher, what if FIFA gets picked up by Ubisoft? What if Ubisoft decide they want to buy the FIFA franchise? I mean, it's a bold move to try to compete and start from scratch. They'd have to buy in the expertise and the sports engine, but and do it in a year. I can't see it. I can't see it. The THQ show is on the 12th of August. THQ Nordic is on the 12th of August. Interestingly enough, Kari Knapp, who's effectively head of Stadia product, head of Stadia partnerships, used to work for THQ. That's when I had my interactions with her. And she was at THQ. Anyway. So, yes, it's FIFA's funny now, because unless you've already got a football game on the go, how are you going to develop a game on that scale in the space of a year? Unless you've already done the deal with FIFA. But anyway, that's going to be a weird one. Maybe FIFA will wait a year or so before we see a FIFA game, a FIFA football game again. But imagine if Ubisoft did a deal with FIFA and spent the next 2 years. No, it's do FIFA own the rights to EA code? No, they will just, it will be a licensing deal. And in that, I mean, there are so many licensing deals other than FIFA. FIFA bring FIFA Pro, I think it's called FIFA Pro or FIFA Player Pro, which is the organization that represents the players. So they can sign, not all players. It's like not a union, but it's like a represents, players. When they sign a club, I think they sort of sign up to FIFA Pro. So FIFA can deliver FIFA Pro, which gives them naming rights. It probably gives them naming rights to some of the clubs, but they have to go to other clubs. So, for instance, eFootball, or what was Pro Evo Soccer, they only had the naming rights to a certain few clubs. So if you played as Merseyside Reds or something like Merseyside City Reds, I think the name was Merseyside Blue. So that'd be Liverpool or Everton, but they didn't have the naming rights for Liverpool and Everton. So Konami have eFootball, which was Pro Evo, or Winning 11, as they say in Japan. Winning 11 in Japan. So maybe they could step in. But there is also, of course, another football game in development. And I was talking actually within my day-to-day work business, talking to a company who were talking to the company that would, what is it called? It's being developed by a sort of a new developer, and it's a new football game. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. Not quite that bad, but yeah. Not quite that bad. PES, yeah, Pro Evo Soccer. But there's another game. UFL. So this is being developed You are all invited to join the I think it's United Football League, and they've got CR9 on board, of course. Paid him a lot of money to front it. This little interview. So these are the developers, and they're just talking about their plans. Yeah. So it's in very early, very, very early development, and it's sort of meant to be a fan-led true football game that's currently in development. Whether they've got the money, I mean, because FIFA are notoriously greedy, unless the alternative would be that FIFA, and this may be an option for FIFA, that FIFA themselves launch a game. So they buy or hire a game developer and bring it in-house effectively, and basically do what we call a work for hire deal. Yeah, where they basically say to the developer, you're my wife now. You're my wife now. Say to the developer, called League of Gentlemen then. They say to the developer that, you come in, you do the work for us, but we own everything. We own the game and all right that. Because we know FIFA is, FIFA wanted about 6 billion. Yeah. Ubisoft had a football game out back on the 360. Yeah. Stevie G on the cover. Really? Oh, gosh. Pure Football. Was that the name of the game? That's the name of the game. Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully FIFA 23 does amazeballs on Stadia so that we see EA Sports FC, whatever the title is in 24, and all of that. And yeah, I think it's going to be, I think they're going to say, FIFA did say in a statement, the next game to launch to bear that it will be a one to watch. Yeah. I think that, they're going to have to say that, isn't it? But I think nobody can afford the FIFA license. And if the FIFA is saying to EA, you make billions. You make billions, and we want some of those billions up front. That's the way FIFA would have worked. And that's why EA are going, no, mate, we're not giving you up front. But FIFA are going, but you make that. So give it us up front rather than at the back end. So I can't, if FIFA are expecting that, who can genuinely afford Take-Two? I mean, it's a massive investment. Maybe Take-Two are the only ones that could afford maybe the license. But whoever it is, I think FIFA are asking so much, they'd have to do some kind of deal in which the upfront price is drastically reduced in order to make it affordable for a developer to give an advance or get a license. But probably that would be at the expense of the back end. But there we go. So much potential for immersive streaming in football. Indeed. One thing before I go actually, on that immersive stream. So remember at the last sort of, at the Google, sort of when they announced the Pixel 7, Pixel Pro 7 and all of that, at the time, they also showed some augmented reality. Google showed some augmented reality. And they talked about glasses again. Yeah, Google Glass, but they're bringing it back and all that kind of stuff. Well, some of that augmented reality stuff was powered by immersive stream, which goes to show that Google are heavily investing in immersive stream, as we've talked about on this platform, not just for game streaming, for graphical, high fidelity graphical interfaces and stuff like that. That was in an advert, a job advert they put out before Christmas. Yeah. Well, I found this, and I only bring it because it all means further investment in technology, which will only feed into what Stadia can do and what Immersive Stream can do. And it's this on CNBC. Google will once again test augmented reality glasses in public. And so they highlighted these AR glasses before on originally Google announced it a few months ago when they were announcing the new Pixel phones. But I seem to remember that this augmented reality was powered by Immersive Stream. So it's interesting if they are indeed testing that out. There we go. Google could. They could afford it, but it would make sense for them because the gaming side of Google is such a tiny speck on the whole Alphabet Google group. You're better off getting the mobile license. But what FIFA will do when it comes to the license, they'll thin it. They will slice it thin. Yeah, I used to work with a Danish lawyer when I was at Lego, and he described it as the salami, slicing the salami of rights, so that you go, okay, you have the mobile gaming rights, you have the virtual reality gaming rights, you have the cloud gaming rights, you have the PC only. So that, you know, one way of doing it is rather than giving it all out in a big bundle, they slice it up. It's not very consumer friendly because it means there's no sort of cohesion across different platforms and stuff like that. But there we go. Immersive Stream is supposed to bring VR now to web developers. Yeah, I mean, they talked about it, and there was some blog posts about it on the Google page and all of that. That's it. The Immersive Stream for XR tools are available on Google Cloud Console. That's correct. That's what they were talking about. Anyway, there you go. Talked about lots of things I hadn't planned to talk about, which is kind of fun. And that's the nature of the show. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to chat and all of that. Yeah, they could. Xbox, PlayStation. Wow. And then it makes them a lot of money. Both Xbox and PlayStation, it makes them a lot of money. I think there'd be uproar if it was exclusive to the platform. But yeah. Okay, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's another Stadia Monday Night Chat. I hope you enjoyed that one. A lot of freewheeling chat and that kind of stuff, you know, which I like. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you watching live. I appreciate you watching after the event. I appreciate you watching later in the week, as many, many people do, which is great to see. So thank you for that. Please like, subscribe, and all of that. And why don't we do this all again, same place, same time, next week. Arigato gozaimasu, and I'll see you next week. By then, we'll know what the Stadia Pro games are. Yes! So actually, if you're interested in that, watch the rock show thingy tomorrow, usually in and around the time the Stadia TWAS comes out. I think we are due a TWAS. Might know what the pro titles are. Always worth dropping in to watch Rock on his show. 5 p.m. UK time and all of that. But if not, I'll see you same time, same place next week. Spread the love. Spread this show. Tell everyone how brilliant it is and all of that. Thank you. Goodbye. I pressed the button. It didn't work. Thank you. Goodbye.